Focus on Ports, brought to you by Transnet National Ports Authority.
Welcome back. You're watching Focus on Ports. Still in studio with me is Transnet National Ports Authority CEO, Mr. Thabo Morwe. And joining the discussion is the General Manager of HR, Mr. Brinton Spies. Brinton, thank you very much for joining us. Right, so the Transnet National Ports Authority, or at least the Transnet Group, will increase the headcount by a further 25% by the year 2018-2019. This means about a lot more employees, a lot more opportunities for people to work, which is important given our situation of joblessness in South Africa. But what does this mean for the group as far as what type of jobs are these going to be? What quality jobs are these going to be going forward? Yes.
Sure. Lionel, at the level of the entire group, we're talking about jobs which range from specialists who are engineers and people who are working in different specialist roles, IT people, as well as working all the way down to people who may be blue-collar workers working on the railways or otherwise on the port side itself. So there are a wide range of jobs that we're talking about at a group level. If you were to focus in on the National Ports Authority and what it means for us, we're talking about an increase in the number of jobs, again across the board, primarily in the area of marine services.
Okay.
And that would mean pilots, tug masters, chief marine engineers in the technical areas. And then, of course, there will be opportunities for jobs down on the port side, because there are a number of people who run the port. It isn't only the specialists who do so.
So there's going to be a lot of opportunities for people to get in on the port business. And I was speaking to Mr. Morwe just before the break, and you were saying that, sorry, that the port business is big business. Opportunities need to be afforded to people that previously didn't have an idea, a clue, an inkling of what goes on behind those barricaded buildings that we call the ports. I mean, ports are still not open to public. Right. So why is it important to create those opportunities?
Well, it's important in the sense that people have to be actively participating in the economy. I mean, as a port authority, we issue licenses, and the majority of the licenses that we issue are for companies that have been around the ports for quite some time, and one of the mandates of the Port Authority is to ensure that we become a change agent. In other words, we need to bring into the system, into the business of the ports, those entities and individuals which were historically not allowed to participate in that business.
I want to bring Brinton in here as well. Obviously, transformation is a clear mandate that you have, and every country in this, every company in this country should have. But as a state-owned entity or state-owned company like Transnet, the National Ports Authority, you have a particular responsibility to ensure transformation. What is the situation with regards your headcount at the moment?
Yeah,
I mean, give us the numbers.
Yeah. At the moment, we're doing quite well overall. So overall, we're sitting at 80% of our workforce being black people, black as defined as Indian, coloured and African. So we're doing really well in that regard. But where we have the challenge is, we have the challenge in three areas actually. Disabled people, bringing in of women, and then bringing in of people at particularly middle management, black people at middle management. We've done very well within the National Ports Authority at senior management, having lots and lots of black people at senior levels. Then we've got a challenge with women generally. We're sitting at about 18% against a target of 23%.
It's not because the Ports Authority is seen as a male-dominated industry?
I think there's twofold. The one is, yes, indeed, that the ports are seen as a male-dominated industry. And I think that there are cultural issues as well. Historically, black people just didn't, I think Mr. Morwe was referring to at a business level, black people not getting involved in port business. At an employment level as well, we just didn't see ourselves as part of the ports. But all of that has changed dramatically over the last couple of years.
Okay, so we're looking forward to see a lot more women in the business. Mr. Morwe, the Skills Development Fund that the Marketing Strategy is going to generate is to the tune of 7.7 billion rand. That's a lot of money. Which skills are you going to be focusing on that need to be developed for the business?
think engineering skills. We need to bring in marine engineers, civil engineers, and so forth. We are going to keep on building on the marine skills such as pilots, tug masters, and so forth. And incidentally, I mean, as a port authority, we are one of the most progressive port authorities in the world in terms of the number of female pilots, tug masters that we employ. I think over the last year or so, 2 of the largest MSC vessels visited the port of Durban, and each one of those was brought in by an African female pilot.
Wow.
You know, which is quite historical. So we will keep on building on those skills, research skills, in terms of research around capacity creation in the ports. As I said, we have established an economics unit, a continuous improvement unit, focusing again on operations. Those are the skills that we'll be bringing into the system.
Brenton, how serious are skill shortages within the business?
I think these shortages are serious, but I think it's not unique to the port business. I think that we've got a general shortage within the country, and I think that we therefore need to look at it just as a challenge. Certainly, as the leadership team of the TNPA, we don't see it as a debilitating factor. If anything, we look at it as an exciting opportunity to develop these skills. Our issues, I think, are more related to the change management aspects. How do we convince people who have always seen themselves not being part of the ports that they do have a future and a career there?
Mr. Morea, to bring you in here, with regards to the growth development strategy of South Africa, the national growth path, and its sort of importance of getting people into the job space. You see the Transnet National Ports Authority as playing some role in helping government achieve some of those targets. Could you explain to us how exactly are you going to sort of use your market demand strategy to help government to achieve some of their goals with regards skills development, with regards transformation, and so on?
One of the key objectives of the new growth path is job creation, infrastructure development. Just on job creation, within Transnet, direct jobs that we're going to create would be around 15,000 across the group. Now, as I indicated earlier on, within the National Ports Authority alone, there are new things that we are doing. We never had an economics department, so we just hired an economist. We are going to hire researchers and so forth. And these are jobs that were not there. I think on the issue of schools, we adopted Stengile High School in Claremont in Durban, the JL Dube School in Soweto. And some of the students are in an EFT college up in Cape Town, some are in Simonstown. So there are these young kids who have never really participated or played in this area. We're bringing, those in.
Are you looking for the academic achievers, or are you looking for the technical students, like you spoke about the further education and training schools?
Well, let me give you an example. And we decided this sometime, I think it was around April, May of this year. We've got people who work for us as security guards. We've got people who work for us as cleaners, and some make tea. The interesting thing is some of these people have got matric. Some of them even have degrees. And we've made it our duty to find out what skills they have and to bring them within the organization to develop them, so that if we talk about people development, we start within our own house. So we are not only talking about bringing in engineers, but saying how do we develop people who are within the organization. We are encouraging secretaries, we are encouraging drivers, to better themselves. so that you know, when we say we have developed people, it's not only bringing in people with tertiary education or qualification, but taking people from the bottom and taking them to the possibility of what they can achieve.
All right.
You know,
Just a final question.
if I can add to that, the TNPA currently is spending 4.3% of payroll on the training of its staff.
Fantastic.
Now, when the global average is somewhere around 2% of payroll, world-class best practice, that is a significant amount of money. And what Mr. Morwe is referring to, I think, has got to be really applauded. Because what we're saying is that we've got to develop our internal people. And so we give the opportunity to our people to be able to further themselves along alternate career paths within the organization.
I was going to ask a question about skills retention. As you upskill these people, you need to keep them. Just a final word on skills retention.
Well, it's a two-edged sword. Yes, it's about skills retention. I'll tell you about that right now. But we also, as a leadership team in TNPA, recognize the value of developing those skills for the economy of South Africa. I think it's far too narrow to believe that we are developing people only for TNPA or for Transnet. We would like to see our contribution to the development of the country in the development of the people that we are doing, so that when we have developed people and they decide that they'd rather move into other aspects of the economy, that is fine, because that's our contribution to the development of the country.
All right.
But as far as retention is concerned within the organization, obviously what we try to look at over there is give people the opportunities to believe that we are an employer of choice, that they will have opportunities to develop, and that they can indeed have a future within the TNPA. And that has worked wonderfully. We have a very, very low turnover rate within the Ports Authority.
I think on that positive note, we've actually run out of time. Mr. Morwe, you wanted to have a quick word before we end?
No, I was just saying the ports business is a global business. And at some point, we need to start thinking of developing skills for the global world, so that people who could otherwise have been unemployed are working, whether it's in Dubai, whether it's in India, but they're employed.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming through to the studio.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's all we have time for today, but do email us your comments and suggestions to ports@abn360.com.